So, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to skip ahead a tiny bit. You've now got the basic layout, setting up, Illustrator. You basically know where most things are at this stage. And we're going to use one of our tools now, this will be a large part of what you're doing inside Photoshop. Just to quickly explain the pen tool, which you'll be using primarily for drawing. So, Illustrator works with vectors. So what it does is create points. So if I click here, just left click, I've created a point inside Illustrator. And what I want to do now is create another point over here. So if I left click over here again, I've created a point. And then between those 2 points, you'll see what's called a path. So if I go back, you'll see path written inside there. So in between 2 points I have what's called a vector path. Now my paths are scalable. Let's say unlike Photoshop, everything's made up of pixels, little dots. So if I increase something in size, things are going to pixelate, the quality is going to go down. This won't happen with vectors because you use mathematical calculations to recalculate the quality or size of your images between these points and your vector paths. Okay, so that's the good thing about Illustrator. You don't have to worry about degradation and quality. Okay, so if I created your default at first is your foreground, your fill color is in white. So if I created 3 points here, it'll fill in white. I can't see that because I don't have my transparency on. So what I want to go to is go View and Show Transparency Grid. Okay, and then you can see what's going on. So in between those 3 points there, it's filling in with white. Okay, this is changeable as well. Also, you can see the line, the stroke of the line is black. Okay, so you can see behind here underneath our tools, the one behind is our stroke, which is here at black at the moment. I can bring up my stroke options and change the colors there, and also with my fill. I actually changed that now. So if I click on my fill again, I can change that to whatever color I want, and you can see it changes up here inside my fill. Same as any other tool, when you click on the pen tool, you have your different dialog options box opens up here. Okay. Now, so that's basically what a vector is. Now the pen tool takes a little time to get used to. We're going to do a project in a minute. We're just going to vectorize an eye. So we'll be learning how this pen tool works. Because at the very beginning, when you start playing around with it like this, it's kind of complicated. It doesn't seem very natural. But I'll bring you through how to use it and how to use those anchor points in a minute. Okay, I'm gonna select. You can see I drew this while I was clicked on layer 1. So if I hide here, it'll hide my shape that I've just drawn there, random shape. Okay, I'm just going to delete that. Delete all of these. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is to just show you, same as Photoshop, we have our different rectangle tools, ellipse tools, star tools inside here, so you can create different shapes. If I wanted to divide up further my A4 image that I have here, I'm going to use it using the rectangle tool. So at the moment my fill color is white. I'm going to change that to red, and I'm going to fill in color up here on the top left. Okay. So I purposely went outside the guides so I can show you Oop. I can easily adjust my actual shape. So you can see again the intersect, the smart guides coming up, saying intersecting with those guides I created earlier. Okay, so I've placed a shape inside here. Now I can divide up this shape. Let's say this was a page for, I don't know, a magazine layout or something like this. Maybe on top you just have may just place in an entire image inside this area. It's up to you. So if I create another, I'm just going to create another shape down here. Okay. And I'm going to put this shape on a new layer. So to do that like before, I create a new layer, layer 3, double click on it to rename it. Just gonna call it shape for the moment. Click on my shape, then you see my blue box appears. I click and drag it up to shape. So then I hide it. There's just that layer there, so it's separated. Okay, so if I wanted to divide up this particular shape, which is handy, let's say down here I wanted to put in some text, maybe or squares or circles, it could be various different things. So if I had an image up at the top of the document here, and at the bottom I want to put in some text in one corner here, maybe leave some white space here so that's blank, and maybe just one more image up here. So it's a nice simple layout, and then maybe the name of the company or whatever it is in the top right hand box. So I wanted to basically divide this shape into 4. So I can go to Object, I go down to Path, and split into grid, which is what I'm going to do. So I can split my object into different grids. So you can see this will do it live for me below. That's split into 2, number of columns 2, split into 4. So you can choose, if you're going to fill these up right to the edge, you might want to leave a bit of what's called here gutter space, okay, in between it. If you don't want any gutter space, just type in 0, and you can do the same under rows, and then your 4 areas are divided like that. Okay, so maybe in this one I just want to leave a little bit of space in between them. Good. So that's divided up my document even further. Inside here I could, you know, depending on the layout or what you want to achieve, as I said before, text inside here, maybe more text on the top left and bottom right, and maybe images in the bottom left and the top right to give a bit of symmetry to the document. Okay? So now once I've divided up the image, I'll show you what I did there. I'll go back into Object, Path, and split into Grid. 2, 2. Okay. So in this shape, I can actually go into individual areas inside here. I can double click inside these boxes and just affect what's going on inside here. So if I double left click inside here, I go into what's called isolation mode. So I can simply work inside this box shape inside here. Okay. To get out of isolation mode, double click or just click the top right here and exit isolation mode. We'll get you out of that. Okay, so that's the basics of creating some simple shapes and dividing them up that will help your layout.